Okay, let's dive right into this explainer and completely shatter that whole 6-minute abs illusion so we can finally find out what actually burns that stubborn belly fat. We've all seen the late-night infomercials, right? The fitness influencers promising that just a few minutes of flopping around on a mat will magically melt away your gut. But today, we're skipping the gimmicks. We're going to look directly at the foundational truths of body mechanics to understand the laziest yet most incredibly effective ways to actually get results.
Prepare yourself for this staggering number, 250,000. Because yeah, that is roughly how many crunches you'd have to do just to burn 1 single pound of fat. 250,000. Just let that sink in for a second. If your entire strategy for losing your gut relies on lying there doing endless ab workouts, you are setting yourself up for massive frustration. You could literally spend hours every single day crunching away, and mathematically, you wouldn't even make a dent in the fat you're trying to lose.
And you know what the absolute worst part is? Even if you did 250,000 crunches, your body still wouldn't take the fat directly from your stomach. We have to completely kill the myth of spot reduction. The idea that you can burn fat from one specific area just by training the muscles underneath it, it's completely false. Your body just doesn't work that way. Doing ab exercises builds the abdominal muscles, sure, but it does absolutely nothing to target the fat sitting right on top of them.
So think of your body like a swimming pool. This brilliantly illustrates how fat loss actually works. When you want to lower the water level in a pool, you can't just scoop a bucket out of the deep end and expect a localized hole in the water while the rest of the pool stays full, right? The entire water level drops all at once. Fat loss works exactly the same way. When you create the conditions for fat loss, you lose it from all over your body simultaneously, not just from the one specific spot you happen to be flexing.
But here's the cruel part, especially for guys. Your whole water level drops at once, but the belly, the deep end of the pool, is the absolute last place to empty out. You might start noticing your face looking leaner, maybe your arms are getting some definition, your chest shrinks a bit, but your stomach, it's still hanging on. It's incredibly frustrating, I know, but understanding this is the absolute key to having patience. Those crunches aren't touching the belly fat. They're just building strong muscles that remain entirely hidden under the deep end of the pool.
If you're still here, you're in the 1% who actually wants the truth. So let's rank the 5 boring habits that genuinely work, starting with the absolute most important.
Number 1, the engine, a calorie deficit.
So the crucial point here is that eating slightly less than your body burns is the real engine of fat loss. You simply cannot outtrain a bad diet. Now please, do not go on a crash diet. Crash diets are terrible. You lose muscle, your energy tanks, and you inevitably rebound right back to where you started. Instead, just gently nudge yourself into a sustainable deficit using a few incredibly simple everyday adjustments. Cut out just one daily snack, swap one sugary drink for water, and make sure you add a real source of protein to every single meal so you actually stay full. A small deficit you can live with always beats a miserable one you quit after a week.
Let's move to our second habit, the cheat code, daily walking.
Walking is, without a doubt, the ultimate cheat code. It builds your calorie deficit without destroying your recovery or leaving you totally starving. Honestly, it might be the single most underrated fat loss tool in existence. Hard cardio can spike your hunger and leave you exhausted, but walking, it quietly burns real calories in the background. Aim for a daily target of 8,000 to 10,000 steps, or even just 30 minutes a day of brisk walking. It keeps the engine of your fat loss running consistently. Take the stairs, park further away, or just take a short walk after dinner. It really is that simple.
All right, habit number 3, strength training.
Now, what's really interesting here is that lifting doesn't actually burn massive calories instantly, but it protects your muscles so you don't end up just skinny fat. When you lose weight strictly through diet and cardio, your body burns both fat and muscle tissue, leaving you smaller but still kind of soft. By doing full-body compound movements just a few times a week, like squats, presses, and rows, you essentially signal your body to hold on to the muscle and burn the fat instead. That keeps your metabolism high and ensures that when the belly fat finally does come off, your stomach actually looks tight and lean.
Next up is habit number 4, the silent controller, sleep.
This right here is the secret I promised you at the start. Fixing your sleep might actually do more for your gut than sweating through another brutal hour of cardio. Look at this stark contrast. Poor sleep spikes your hunger hormones and your stress levels, which makes sticking to a calorie deficit feel completely impossible. You're hungrier, you're fighting cravings, you're just fighting your own body. Meanwhile,
Good sleep acts as the foundation that makes everything else feel effortless. Your cravings calm down, your stress drops, and maintaining that deficit stops feeling like a daily battle of pure willpower.
And finally, habit number 5, HIIT, or high-intensity interval training.
So we're talking sprints, heavy kettlebell swings, intense bike intervals. HIIT is highly efficient for busy people, absolutely. But it is vastly oversold by fitness influencers online, because you simply cannot do it every single day without completely burning out. It's incredibly demanding on your nervous system. That famous afterburn effect everyone talks about, it's scientifically real, but it's small. Treat high-intensity bursts as just one optional tool in your box, a modest bonus. Maybe use it 2 or 3 times a week at most, if you genuinely enjoy it.
Okay, let's bring it all together. Building the fat loss stack.
Because here's the reality. There is no single hero exercise or magic fat burner pill. Real results only come when we put all 5 of these components together into a cohesive system. Watch how perfectly this stack interlocks. Good sleep controls your hunger, which makes maintaining the calorie deficit vastly easier. That deficit burns the fat, and then lifting heavy protects the muscle you've built. And all the while, walking burns steady calories quietly in the background, ensuring you stay in that deficit. It is a perfectly engineered, self-supporting cycle.
Now, to make absolutely sure you succeed with this stack, you need to immediately stop making these 5 common fat loss mistakes that are actively sabotaging your hard work. Seriously, don't do endless crunches. They just build muscle under the fat. Don't chase magic exercises. They don't exist. Don't crash diet. You'll ruin your metabolism. Don't ignore your sleep, and above all else, do not lose patience. Because as we learned, the belly is the deep end of the pool, and it empties last.
Anyone out there promising you a flat stomach in 7 days is, quite frankly, selling you a lie. The honest timeline requires months of boring consistency. Your body doesn't want to let go of its stored energy easily. It takes time for the water level in the pool to drop low enough to finally drain the deep end. You just have to settle in, accept the timeline, and trust that the biological math of a calorie deficit over time literally cannot fail you. So, armed with the truth that there are absolutely no shortcuts to draining the deep end of the pool, I have to ask, are you finally ready to commit to the boring routines that will actually give you results? Forget the 6-minute abs and embrace the basic physiology that works every single time. The deep end of your pool will eventually drain if you just let the engine run. So, are you willing to trade the illusion of a quick fix for the guarantee of a permanent one?